Hi,
Hi,
it's B from Kongs R Us, and
Mrs. Kongzaras.
we're here on a Sunday Funday show to talk about a couple different things. You have no idea what today's topic is
Nope,
about,
nope.
huh?
It was driving home. Hey,
hmm
let's do a show.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a busy weekend, but I've enjoyed recently having fun experiencing socialization of video games.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going with something different here, but yes, we can do that too.
Yeah, right. So like I've been going out to play pinball and Street Fighter 2 and
Oh, we
other.
are going down that route. Yeah, he's been staying out super late. So late.
So worth it. The last 2 weeks, like, for example, I've been going out to this place called Don's Arcade. Shout out to Don's. But it was like this hidden gem of a place. But that really inspired me to talk about today's topic. Today's topic, I put together a list, a top 10 list of my favorite video games that bring social people together.
Okay.
Socialness. So it's top 10 social video games of all time. My list.
AKA the reason
My
why
list.
I'm out late
My
almost
list.
every day.
No, we're not late, out late, whatever. I'm just talking about like
Words,
all time.
words,
Words.
all time.
Yes. So this is just my personal list, and a couple of different things happened, in the past couple of days and weeks. So first off, I did this video, right? It was about Don's Arcade, and if you guys saw it, it kind of blew up for a channel like mine. It had like over 10,000 views in 1 week, which is abnormal for a normal selection video. So if you're new to the channel and you happen to be catching this, thank you so much for subscribing recently. And if you're watching this on a replay at any point in time, hope you enjoy this content. Let me know if there's anything you want, because the YouTube formula said, find out what you did in that video and try to replicate its success. And what I did was I did a vlog. I was like, I'm driving to the secret location, I'm pulling up, and then I did my normal tour video where I walk around and talk about the games that I was playing. But it was like retro Street Fighter heaven. You let me know in the chat if you saw that video. But I got to play socially with all these people that enjoyed classic video games, right? The fighting game scene, FGC, fighting game community. People know it for the modern games and things, but getting together, nothing replaces the experience of standing next to somebody, standing next to somebody, putting your joysticks next to them, and playing head to head with them. So, I mean, did you ever enjoy going to the arcades and actually like playing with your family or friends, like next to them? Is that ever in your bones?
Well, I mean, we probably did like the 4 people games, like the
Mhm.
X-Men, the
Yeah, like the
Simpsons, and
beat
stuff
'em
like
ups and
that.
things,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know about the whole getting close to somebody going, I'm
Well,
gonna
when it's
move my arm
competitive,
like this.
that really lit some new fire in me, just because, like, I've been playing online Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter 2 and, maybe a little Mortal Kombat. Um, but those games was like, I just remember the times it created this social atmosphere. So flash forward a week later, I've also been participating in my first ever official pinball league tournament. So shout out to Current Times. I've found the biggest community that comes together to play video games. If you count video games, it's the pinball community. The pinball community now is now doing a ton of stuff. And so this is a video that I did last Thursday about all you can eat gogi, where I was eating Korean barbecue at this restaurant. And yes, you've heard me talking about this place before, but this is probably the best place to play pinball in Los Angeles. And I made this video. I was like, hey, I talked about Don's Arcade. It blew up. Let's talk about all you can eat gogi and the cool pinball machines there. And then this video has like 500 views. That's okay though. That's the algorithm. But still, it was a social place. And I happened to run into whatchamacallit. It was league night. Look at all these people here on a Thursday night, randomly playing pinballs together socially.
You told the stream that you were out doing something else on Thursday night.
Yeah.
You outed yourself.
I said that I was on a date with myself, Mrs. Kongzaras.
You just happened to post a picture of us on a date a few weeks ago.
I did, yeah. So, but anyways, so my whole point is that in today's pinball arcade world, if you are going to a pinball or an arcade in general, it's not to find a community of people that are playing Robotron or what is it, like our classic Star Wars trilogy or Trons, or even like shooting games like Time Crisis. Like those games were individually nostalgic, but they never brought communities of people together. The only current group of people coming together to do things is the pinball community. I mean, it's really interesting, right? Because arcade nostalgia is all in our brains of our local places where we grew up. But now adults all over the country are gathering in pinball leagues and tournaments, and it's insane. This week was a Jaws tournament at Flippin' Out Gogi. This is Scott and his girlfriend that were playing dual. Look at this. This was one of the favorite things that they're doing. They're playing dual pinball. Like, she's behind him. She's using the left flipper and he's using the right flipper. This was insane. It was my first time ever seeing this. It's like couples pinball. I can only imagine me and Justin doing this. Where like I'm straddling him or Michael B is behind, you know, it would be fun.
Whoa, two. Let me introduce the third person.
We could play three people. I want to play this with you. But, you know, I was just, you know, this was just a really fun time to check it out. You know, I met some other cool people. This is Melody. She was giving me thoughts on Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Looney Tunes. And then Shane, the owner of the pinball place, was amazing. So flash forward to today. Today, I actually participated in a local tournament. A shout out to Hermosa Brewing Company. They were just doing their own local pinball tournament just to kind of get a flavor of things. They're not officially IFPA certified, so they're not doing rankings. It's just a very casual place that has a ton of pinball machines. It's really cool in our local brewery. Because there was a lot of tournaments this weekend. There's a Jaws tournament at Captain's Auctions. There's a Jaws tournament at Ace All You Can Eat Gogi. And I just happened to place, what did I place? I placed in the top 2.
There's no signs here.
Yay!
What's the rank order?
So the person on the left is Scott. Scott is actually the operator and owns all the pinball machines. He's local to the South Bay area. Mike won first place in the tournament. I got second. Mike is the next person here. And then I got second. And then Greg on the right side got third place. So that was the order of the tournament. And I paid $10. I won $40 out of 10 people that were there. But it was cool. I mean, it's just like, they're not really...
You paid $10. Our son also played.
Yeah.
So you took his $10?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's just like, you know, I thought about it. It's like, is this gambling if you put in a fee and then you win stuff?
Yeah, you only got $20 back.
No, but it's skill based. I mean, this is like people entering tournaments like Street Fighter tournaments and Evo. They win prize money. So it's not gambling because it's all skill based, right? But anyways, I entered my first pinball tournament. I thought it was fun. Anyways, all this intro is just to say I was inspired to come up with, throughout the time of just me being nostalgic, what were my top video games that I played growing up that I felt like created that same social atmosphere? Like today.
Speaking of social atmosphere, Ralphie put it in the chat too, which we do need to go back to Riverside. He says, you need to come down to Riverside, and downtown there's Food Lab and Game Lab next to each other. We did try to go to Riverside.
Closed.
What day was it? Like a Thursday.
It was random.
It was a random day. The kids had time off, and we went, and Food Lab was open, Game Lab was closed. So we for sure need to go back down to there. It looks really rad. It was really cute in that whole downtown area. Very close to UC Riverside as well. So yes. Oh, and they also have a pinball. A little too far for a pinball league, Rafi, but one day we'll visit there.
The pinball leagues and things, there's one in Long Beach, there was one up north. It was just so far to be able to join them. So I'm just saying, today, that's where the community is at, coming together regularly. Right now, so I have a top 10 list of things I just wanted to go to. Like, what were the things that I remember in the arcade or even at home in video game consoles that I thought were really fun ways to bring community together? So my very first video, number 1, top 10, number 1, Mrs. Kongzeres. I still have a top 10 list right here. Look, number 10. My number 10 game that brought community together was one that I played a lot in the arcade. It was something that, did you play this game a lot?
On the console, because it was free.
Yeah? All right, here it is. Street Fighter 2. Number 10 on my list. I know I'm a big Street Fighter 2 fan, but this was the first game in the arcade. There were lines of people waiting to play, putting your quarters up on the glass to call next. My video store in North Long Beach used to have Street Fighter 2. Then it had a Champion Edition and Hyper Fight, all the different versions of Street Fighter 2. The middle school kids would come after school and we would just play the shit out of this game. And it was the first time where I felt like there was a true community surrounding cabinet. Like, did you ever see crowds of people playing around this game?
No.
No? You never visit the arcades back in the day?
I did. Nobody crowded around these games. There's like a bunch of I grew up going to like Aladdin's Castle. Like, there are tons of arcades. Nobody really like crowds around. You kind of wander and see like it's empty. So Aladdin's arcades inside of the mall. And
but nobody was playing Street Fighter 2?
Fun Factory.
Okay.
It wasn't, there's just so much to play. You remember Fun
Factory.
In the early 90s.
In the early 90s? Yeah? Okay. Anyways. All right. Well, that's my number 10. This is my list. This is B's list. Okay. So number 9, the video game that really brought community together for me, was another fighting game. This fighting game was one of the first ones that I thought tons of people were playing, and it was Mortal Kombat. The original Mortal Kombat 1 was one of the few games where we didn't know how to pull off fatalities.
It wasn't written on the little panel?
No. I mean, now it is. You can find this. But I remember crowds of people wanting to play next so that we could play Mortal Kombat and do fatalities on each other, right? This was like the edgy thing that we did as teens, was playing, games and living vicariously and learning how to do special moves. And as soon as we did, this was a crowd pleaser in my local arcade. When I talk about local arcade, talking about my parents' video store that I grew up with, and I saw the physical crowds of people. So this is my nostalgia.
1 or 2 arcades there.
There was a line of 4 to 5 arcades, and this was the one that had a crowd of people. Every day after school, I would come back from home, and then there would be a line of people waiting to play Mortal Kombat. Violent children. No. Okay, so that was my number 9. Okay, my number 8 game. So we're going to be changing it up a little bit. My number 8 game, we're going to a console game. Did you ever remember playing this game?
Well, hold on. The suspense is killing me.
The suspense is killing me.
This is
Super Bomberman 2. So Super Bomberman 2. Do you want to play a little bit of the music? No?
You could, but don't they want to hear me talk?
Okay. All right. Super Bomberman 2. So Super Nintendo, one of the first things that allows you to play more than 2 players was something called the multi-tap. Do you remember that?
I want to see if I ever played Super Bomberman 2 or Super Bomberman 1. I was really good at this game.
Yeah. So the multi-tap was this kind of almost boomerang looking thing that like you plugged it in and then you play up to 4 players, right? Yeah. And Super Bomberman 2 was one of the first multi-tap games you can play with 4 players, each on each corner. And I remember me and my cousins, we would play hours of Super Bomberman 2. So, I mean, this was just one of those fun family ones where I remember, getting a multi-tap, playing this game. This was one of the funnest multiplayer games I've ever seen. And the replay value of it was just super fun. It was so simple. Out of all the Bombermans that have come out, Bomberman 2 is still my favorite. So that's the one that's like nostalgic for me. Super Bomberman 2 was really fun in-person experience for me. All right, let me know if you guys have any thoughts in the chat too. If you're watching this on replay in the comments, if you agree with my list or whatnot. I'm just curious what was nostalgic for you in terms of bringing communities together that you've experienced. So this is all based off of my experience growing up of what was popular at the time. Okay, so number 7 on my list. Let's see. So number 7, we are going to back to the arcades. So for me, in the arcades, in college, it was all about it was all about DDR. DDR was such a social game. What did you not like? Yeah. Anytime DDR was around and people were playing this, wasn't there like a crowd of people? If somebody was good,
it was always the kid with the baggiest pants ever, the hair covering their face, and then they just move like they were part of the music. And it was always that was cool.
Yeah, I remember watching somebody that was part of the DDR club that I was in, and they wouldn't just step on the step. They would use their other foot to do like other dance moves for the other steps too. So I was like, why are you doing extra work when you just need to do the bare minimum to hit? He's like, it's all about style points, man. Yeah. And so it's the social aspect of it. So number 7 on my list of top 10 social video games, DDRs, when there was a good DDR player, that totally attracted a crowd, right? Nelson agrees with me. He's like, hell yeah, guys, right? So that's 7 on my list right now. We're going to get to Marvel vs. Capcom. I mean, that was one of those things too. That might be on my list a little bit later on. All right, so number 6 on my list. We're going to go back to a console game. Do you remember playing this console game at all, Mrs. Kongzeras? You can talk about it before I bring it up on
I just
screen.
Feel like it's like revealing too much to folks.
Of course. Yeah. It's like, you talk about something before you reveal the nomination. Yes. Do you remember playing this game at all?
I do, but I don't remember playing the first one. I think we played this game more when we were dating. And it was, different styles of it too. Because Mario Party.
It is Mario Party.
Was on the N64, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mario Party 64 was the first Mario Party game that came out.
Really? I know my stuff.
Look at you. There was tons of little mini games. And the Nintendo 64 console, by the way, there's several Nintendo 64 console games on this list, was the start of like party games, right? The Nintendo 64 with 4 controller slots. That was such a genius move by Nintendo back in the day to be able to kind of bring more communities together, because then you had to buy more accessories, but they had all these games where you could play multiplayer. So I remember Mario Party was on this list of just fun game nights, virtual board games. Essentially, that's what it was. There was a board game, there were mini games, and there were all these little random things you can do. So Mario Party was definitely on my list of fun social party.
Do you like any of the Mario parties afterwards?
I don't know if any of them like stand out to me as much as like Mario Party 1 does. I remember like tons of time being spent on that when I was a kid with my family and my cousins. But the other ones, not so much.
All right, I got a little one I need to take care of. I will be back. You entertain the guests.
All right, you got that. All right, so number 5 on my list. This one was tough for me. This one was tough to go back a little bit, to have this so high on my list. Somebody was mentioning it earlier. The fighting game community for me was something that I absolutely remember a lot in high school and in college. And this game was probably the height, in my opinion, of fighting game community in the arcades. Like after Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I did not see that many people going to the arcade and crowding around an actual console. This is just me in college. This was like early 2000s. Marvel vs. Capcom was the peak of people gathering around, calling next, and playing this for hours and hours and hours and hours. So Marvel vs. Capcom number 2 is number 5 on my list of top 10 social video games of all time. I would remember just sitting and watching the people do Infinites, and someday I would be doing this. This game for me, not only did I play it in the arcade, I was debating about putting either Marvel vs. Capcom 1 on this or Marvel vs. Capcom 2, because in high school, I give credit to somebody that was a friend of mine. His name was Tola, and he was the first person that taught me how to do the Magic series combo for the Marvel Versus series. And so before that, I didn't really know how to play these tag team games. And a lot of times to date, people don't know how to play these Marvel games. And I know if you don't know basic combos, then it can be pretty frustrating to play somebody that does know how to play the combo system, and you just get infinite combo everywhere. But the Magic series, he used Spider-Man, and he showed me. That's why Spider-Man's still my favorite character. It's a simple kind of low punch, low kick, medium punch, medium kick, and then high punch. It's just 5 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the Magic series. Every single Marvel game, at least Marvel 1 and Marvel 2, use the Magic series to be able to combo to somebody. And so I learned how to knock somebody up into the air and then do the Magic series and follow them. And that became addicting. It was the first time I ever learned how to combo someone. And I was like, ho, that's pretty fun. I never got like top tier or anything, but that was fun. We would play in the arcades. We would go to this local bowling alley, Regency Fun Center. We would play Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and then Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And then I remember getting a Dreamcast, and he would bring the Dreamcast over and we would play this game again for hours. And I could never beat him, but I just remember playing and doing the Magic series. And it took me until I was an adult to play decent at it. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2, perfect at bringing people together, casual fun. I know this was a big piece of a lot of people's arcade nostalgia for it. And man, the people that are over at Don's Arcade, they're really good. They're kicking my ass all the time. But this was number 5 on my list of social video games that brought people together. So let me know what you guys think about this list so far. If it's crazier than that, let me know. Hey, thank you so much for thank you for the kudos on the game room. He's saying the Dreamcast controllers got workout from MVC2, but Power Stone ranks games higher. So, I mean, this isn't just a list of great fighting games, because there might be some great fighting games, but I don't remember Power Stone creating a crowd of people coming together. MVC2, even today, still pulls a crowd of people wanting to watch top tier MVC2 gameplay. So that's just what this list is about. It's just like, what games were the best at bringing people together? All right, so we're down to number 4 on my list so far. So number 4 on my list, this is a console game, and there's a series of these games here. Mrs. Kong's Arrest, do you remember playing this series for folks?
Mario Kart, that's right. But again, this is a newer version of Mario Kart.
This is Mario Kart Double Dash. So
the Switch.
Yes, no. Mario Kart Double Dash was
on the DS.
No.
Son of a
Before, after the Nintendo 64, there was the
Wii?
No.
The Cube.
GameCube, that's right. So GameCube era was right at the beginning of college for me. So at that time, going into the dormitories at UCLA, yes, anybody that had a GameCube that had multiple controllers, Nintendo 64 and GameCubes were great social games. And we played a ton of Mario Kart. And Mario Kart's one of those games that was almost like intergenerational, right? So I saw
it
transcends just your typical gamers. It wasn't just like dudes playing video games. I saw a lot of girls get into Mario Kart. I saw older people getting into it because it's a racing game, like Mario Kart in general.
For sure. When you talk about now with the Switch, people were actually playing online during the pandemic. It's definitely one of those games that like anyone can pick up, play casually, but also play competitively too.
Yeah,
have fun.
So, I mean, Mario Kart in the dorms it was competitive. There would be like monthly tournaments for Mario Kart folks and would gather tons of people just outside of your normal realm of gamers because anybody can kind of pick up and play. And as long as you know the basics, you can generally still do pretty well in Mario Kart. So that's my number 4. So we're getting into my top 3 list of top 10 social video games of all time. If you're just joining the stream, again, I was inspired to do this because the last couple of weeks I've enjoyed going to some different places and experiencing video games with people. So number 3 on my list now. All right, so I think
being at home with us.
I mean, social. Are you playing video games with me?
We could.
We could. All right. So do you remember playing this game at all?
I played that game. GoldenEye. I've watched people play it. It was not my cup of tea, but this is a social game.
Yeah.
How?
Let me know. No, dude, GoldenEye was the marquee. It was like the Kickstarter of first-person shooter multiplayer games. The Nintendo 64 version of GoldenEye, I mean, brought so many groups of people together, foursomes across the country. Were gathering in people's basements and homes to get in here and blow each other up with proximity mines or rocket launchers. Like this was the Nintendo 64's marquee game title to really bring the 4-player genre together. Like this, absolutely this. And then I didn't include it on here, but I have an honorable mention. I'll just mention it now. Star Fox 64. Star Fox, which was a flying game, but I love the multiplayer aspect of Star Fox 64. Like for me,
this one was a multi-game, even though you're playing as one person.
Yeah. No, you have a single player mode like this, but the multiplayer on GoldenEye was so good. You can play 4 players. It would be split screen on 4 players right here. And I think this is just a 1-player run through. I probably should have found a video that had the split.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It has a split screen, so it's split 4-player screens.
And like somebody was Bond and everybody else was bad guy.
Yeah, GoldenEye 64 multiplayer. So let's just look at one here. So it would look like this. One person was Bond and everybody else was bad guy. You could pick who you want to be. You can be Oddjob. You can be like the midget. You can be anybody. You can be like a ton of different people. So you have all these different options for scenarios, which place you would go to. Complex was my favorite location to be able to play. Weapons, proximity mines were my favorite thing. You can be Natasha, Natalia, Beren, Valentine, Mayday, Jaws, Oddjob. So everybody can pick their character. Russian soldier, Siberian god. Dude, the midget was hard to shoot at, right? The person that got the midget was so good. Yeah, GoldenEye says, he said it doesn't hold up. It was great at the time. That's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying it was one of the best social times to get together in person. It was freaking awesome. Anything with Fox is awesome. So this was GoldenEye. You would walk around 4 players, and this was such a good time. There's just so many memories I have of people coming together. That's why it's in my top 3. Like the crowds of people coming to like somebody's house. And I don't want to say crowds, but it would just be like 4 of us getting together, either my cousins, my family. We'd be playing Ground and Hour for hours. And I think many people across the country can kind of resonate with that. All right, so that's my number 3 game that would bring people together. My number 2 game. My number 2 game. All right, so my number 2 game kind of harkens back to my college days as well. This is also another GameCube game, but I think this is still my favorite in the series.
Oh, yeah. If you didn't include this, something would be wrong. For sure, everybody would play Smash.
Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers Melee, however you call it, was my top Smash Brothers game because it was the one that I was playing the most with my friends in college, afterwards, post-college.
With your children.
Yeah, we would still like hold on to GameCube controllers at that. Like this became, I think, in my opinion, the best kind of starting
this is
point.
where people bring their own GameCube controllers.
Yeah, you know, you would bring your own GameCube controllers. Like, who's your favorite character to play?
Let me think. I think I like the
Ice Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Not Ice Brothers. The Ice
Snow Brothers. No? What are they called?
That's a brother and sister, not Ice Brothers.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't remember. Ice Bros? No, they didn't say Ice Bros.
I think so.
Ice something.
Yeah.
I like them because there's two of them. And then if you died, one of them could still keep going.
I forgot what their name was. I was a Peach player, funny enough. Yeah. So that was my main. I could always like play well with Peach. So let me know if you guys remember. Yes, Smash was one of the games you have the most memories of, right? For sure. Melee was great. You think
Ice Climbers, thank you.
Ice Climbers, thank you so much. It was the Ice Climbers, appreciate it.
Not Ice Bros.
So see, Fox was saying he played the hell out of GoldenEye. But number 2, Smash Brothers. Even the current Smash Brother community, I still brings a lot of people together. I still love that this is a 4-player game. Now
it's 8 players.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can play 8 players on it. But you know, this was one of those non-traditional fighting games where it's just last man standing type of game. So you didn't have hit points. It was a
true button mash game.
Yeah.
Like our daughter does it all the time. Like
yeah, but you can like act. There is strategy.
There is strategy. There's definitely
before
strategy.
Playing this, I didn't know. When I played
right
competitively with other people, I finally learned how to block. I learned how to roll. Yeah. I learned how to grab people and throw them too. So Melee taught me all the basics of that stuff. So it was super fun. All right. Hope you guys are ready for it. My number 1 social game of all time. Mrs. Congress, what do you think it is? I haven't told you.
Number 1 social game of all time. Donkey Konga.
Donkey Konga. Not quite. You're in the similar genre.
Okay, Nintendo. Yeah. That's a lot. Number 1. No. It's not Smash Brothers. That's usually the.
No. What type of game is Donkey Konga?
Donkey Konga is, oh my god, it's Garage Band is now Guitar Hero.
No, it is Rock Band.
One of those.
That's right. So Rock Band is my number 1 social video game of all time. Like the era of rhythm video games, and this was a video that IGN put together. But look at these nerds that are playing. Like they're in a band together and like they're not even like rocking out. They're just like so concentrated on playing because you didn't want to mess up your parts. But you can jump in here and you can play drums and you can sing. Like we started with Karaoke Revolution, right? We were playing that a ton. And then we played Guitar Hero.
They are playing Weezer, so it's a little chill.
Okay, so they're not rocking out for something. But the Rock Band community, man, at the time, everywhere, every party I would go to, and from 2005 to 2010, every party I would go to would have Rock Band set up somewhere. It would be one of those things where even if I was hosting a party somewhere else, I would bring my Rock Band gear. I had a giant bag. I would shuffle my Rock Band gear with me to be able to play it at somebody's house.
Yep.
So, I mean, like, this is just, again, when I think about the social times we're coming together, I was excited to go and play Rock Band with other people's. I remember like you would be out of town and we would have friends just come by our apartment because they wanted to play Rock Band with us because we had the full set and everything, and it was just it was hilarious. No, Rafi, I don't need your Rock Band. I still have my Rock Band, but this is just a fun trip down memory lane to kind of take a look at again. Out of all the different games over the years, I still think this is my top social game because it not only was fun for the people that were playing it in just like a karaoke setting. You could enjoy being at a party and watching other people play too, because it's still music based. Everybody would be able to pick a song and kind of just try it out. So it would be fun to, better or worse, watch people do karaoke badly or poorly. But if you weren't a great singer, you can jump on and play guitar. You can play different modes, or you can see really good people like rock out like a ton, right? So, I mean, just let me know. So that was my top 10 list. If you guys didn't remember or you guys just got here. So my top 10 list of things that were here. Number 1 or number 10, let me just pull this off the screen so you guys can kind of see it. Number 10, just to recap, was Street Fighter 2. Number 9 was Mortal Kombat. Number 8 was Super Bomberman 2. Number 7 was DDR. Number 6 was Mario Party. Number 7 was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Number 5 was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. 4 was Mario Kart, specifically Double Dash for me. Number 3 was GoldenEye. Number 2 was Smash Brothers Melee, and number 1 was Rock Band. So that was my top 10 most social video games of all time. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of my list. Did I get anything wrong? Should I have had any honorable mentions? But there's some things maybe that you played Mrs. Kong's Rust that you felt were also social video games. And I also had some other thoughts on this list too that I'll share in just a minute. But let me ask you, what do you think of my list? Does this feel like a solid top 10?
Some things were surprised me. I didn't realize you would put Super Bomberman. That is actually a fun game. I know we tried to play a version of it in the very beginning of our COVID introduction to us as a streamer. Some of them I'm not surprised. DDR should have made it. Marvel vs. Capcom, Mario Kart, GoldenEye. I didn't realize you could play socially, but I guess y'all did it. Gosh, now you think about the Rock Band, it's so embarrassing, like how we would just like schlep it everywhere.
Yeah, you're only sober half the time where you're playing too. So it was a great social, you know.
No, we were all playing it dry. We were just nerds back then.
Dude, see, even Michael Kurtz was saying at the height of Guitar Hero, he was hosting Guitar Hero nights at the bar he managed at the time. It replaced karaoke that summer. And it was sort of it kind of was a flash, right? Yeah. Like between 2006 to 2009-ish, those 3 years.
Yeah, and I remember like,
really...
do you pick Guitar Hero or Rock Band? Because one of them had the drums and the other one had like cooler songs.
Yeah. So other honorable mentions, because when I was trying to caveat this list, again, there were social video games that brought, I would say, in-person communities together. Because then I was like, oh, I remember spending a lot of time online games. And online games, I feel like, are a separate category. Because then you aren't really... You feel like you're a part of a community, but it's all online. So like I spent a lot of time on StarCraft and I was like, oh, StarCraft was a big community, but I never got together unless you did LAN parties. Yeah. And I only did that once. But yeah, my brother and his friends would get together and play Warcraft and StarCraft and do LAN parties. But it wasn't when I got to college. And I remember with the big jump from 56K modem to Ethernet LAN when you're at college. And the number one thing people did when they got to college was like, I can play Counter-Strike and StarCraft on amazing Ethernet and not have to worry about my dial-up modem, because that was a thing back then. DSL, right? And so I didn't include online gaming, but I did that. I had that on my list of other things too. And then I also thought about mobile gaming. It's like mobile gaming also brought together some community.
Pokemon Go.
I have Pokemon Go on my list too, but I was like, again, it was a mobile game and you really got into Pokemon Go, and there's still communities that are doing festivals for Pokemon Go. The game's almost like 10 years old now. Did you know? Came out in 2015-ish.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think of like the mobile game community? Are you still playing Pokemon Go yourself?
I accidentally turn it on every so often.
At the height of it, you were doing some crazy things.
No, I wasn't even at the height of it. It was after a couple of years, like after like they put in all the safeguards where you can't catch a whaler in an ocean or something like that. Like there's a lot of like the safety features to it too. But I remember being pregnant with our second one to the point where I was like, oh my God, I'm having pain. I think I'm going into premature labor. They're like, no, you've just been walking too much. Oh. Well, that's a thing. You can walk too much when you're playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, there's still Pokemon Go communities. People are traveling to do like specials and things. I mean, I did it casually, but I mean, when raids were happening.
Oh, yeah, that'd be funny. Like, drop everything.
When we need to go at the height when raids were happening, when we saw gatherings of people at random spots, we were just like, it's probably a Pokemon raid. Let's just like go join them and check it out. And you would just go join random people, right?
Yeah.
And then I had a friend, I would say a very enthusiastic friend, who does everything never normally. He does things all over the top. He would bring a raiding party himself. Yep. He would bring a bag of 7 to 8 burner cell phones with Pokemon Go accounts, and he would raid by himself. It would be like on 4 different phones on each hand.
You've seen that YouTube video of like the Taiwanese grandpa who's like riding on his bike and has like 5 phones on his bike, and he's just like tapping and riding his bike at the same time.
The Pokemon raids by himself. But I mean, if you wanted to, it was cool to just get to know people randomly through raids. So that was fun.
Al says, me and the wife still play Pokemon Go religiously. It keeps my health in check.
That's awesome. It did a lot in the early stages. Like I remember they were putting it in hospitals for kids that were like wanted to motivate them to get out of bed and walk around a little bit. Like they were saying it was actually positive of getting people out of the house.
Pokemon Go casually. If Pokemon Go comes to Apple Provision, I envision
Yeah, James says he's actually gone to Fest a couple of times. Yeah, there was a Pokemon Fest located in Los Angeles recently too. And now they have an app called Camp Out, so people can raid without leaving the house. Oh, They ruined it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Oh,
like during the pandemic, they did
interesting.
virtual raids.
Mhm.
So I would raid with like our uncles who live in Northern California,
Mhm.
and like
Yeah. He Pokemon went. Nice. I don't think I've heard the Pokemon Go song. I love Pokemon Go. No.
I love Pokemon
I
Go.
love Pokemon Go. You love cats.
I love cats.
You
I
love
really love
every kind of
cats.
cats. Another honorable mention for a community game that I used to play pretty religiously, Clash of Clans.
Oh my god, you brought it back.
I did. My son is playing it now. Do you guys remember Clash of Clans? Were any of you guys ever Clashers? Clash of Clan players?
It was a sickness for you. You would just randomly wake up because you get a notification that you're getting raided or something like that.
Yeah.
And I have to do something.
Yeah.
And we would be like sleeping, and you wake up, you're like,
and you hear like this little glow of Supercell. Dun 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 dun. Walls and walls. And you're just building walls all day long to be able to. And so I checked to see if my account was still alive. The clan that I was in kicked me out. But yeah, I was playing Clash of Clans, and there was like a chat function, and then like within the game. But then we also had this outside. We created like a community online. You remember Line, right? That was a chat app, and we would have a Line group to be able to coordinate attacks with each other. So Clash of Clans was one big phase for me. He's like, no, nobody was doing Clash of Clans. The other game that wasn't a community game that I spent a lot of time on mobile was Final Fantasy.
That's not a community game.
It's not a community game, but it did create a community. We went to a Final Fantasy Brave Exvius convention. That was fun at the height right before the pandemic. But those are just some other honorable mentions. I was trying to think like, what did I spend so much time playing that it brought people together? So some of those online games are fun. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that top 10 list. I really didn't have much else to talk about tonight, but I was inspired after going to some pinball locations, going to Don's Arcade. I just love nowadays, I don't want to play the new stuff anymore. I want to have nostalgia with people that love the same stuff that I do. And
basically, you don't want to learn the new thing.
Yeah.
Just go back to what we're playing. We're doing well.
Yeah. So that's Don's Arcade. But pinball, that's new stuff. That's a community that's vibrant and like currently active. And you can, if you want to be social, and people joke about me and Justin and Mike B and anybody else that is starting to, that's starting to enjoy pinball. The reason is it's the most social thing out there for adults our age to casually meet other people and play at a bar, a brewery, have a drink, and casually play. Nobody's going out there to have a drink and play Tron, right? They're going there to play pinball because it's casual and it's fun. So that's where the community is at. So I'm going to be making some more pinball content because I can. And it's fun and it's social. That's the whole reason why we get into this thing.
You haven't really encapsulated why pinball is so awesome. It's that shiny lights feature where you're not losing money. You're doing something.
Yes.
So it's like going to Vegas and playing the Vegas slots, but not quite going to Vegas and playing the Vegas slots.
Video Game Vegas has my heart. It says the greatest party game ever is Chrono Trigger. That's what I'm talking about. Party for one. So many hours. Yeah.
One person.
Party for one. It could be a fun time too, whatever you want. Social game of all time is beer pong. Is there a video game?
Yeah, there is a game version
video games.
No, there's an arcade version
of beer pong. Yeah. There is, yeah. That's a ticketing game, right? So, but that's not the same because the fun of beer pong is getting it into the cup and then drinking the unsanitary beer that's been touching the ping pong ball with all the stuff.
That's why you have a cup. You clean the ping pong ball before you throw it.
Yeah.
And then after like the 8th game, you just forget about sanitary stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I see, dude. You're super far, but if I'm ever back in the Riverside area, man, we definitely got to hit you out. We had beer pong, all that stuff. Yeah. Tron is still big with the Nightlight Posse. I mean, it's a fun cabinet.
Game, yeah.
It lights up and looks gorgeous. But yeah, let's see. Pinball, first electromechanical game you've ever played, a wee lad. I liken pinball, like the game, to a fighting game. The thrill that I got playing Street Fighter 2 against somebody was that every match that I played was always different. You could never have the same match twice. No matter what you do, you can have some things that kind of are similar, but for the most part, every match is unique and different. Even computers, they kind of follow the same AI rhythm. Pinball, very similar, a different game every time you play it.
So you could
ball
say
1 to ball 3,
life
always
is
different.
like a game of pinball.
You never know what you're gonna get. Exactly. Well done, Mrs. Conqueror.
I try. It only
nice
takes
analogy. Nice analogy.
Ooh, only takes half a bottle per Prosecco.
What are you drinking tonight?
Trader Joe's Prosecco.
Trader Joe's Prosecco again. Oh, I forgot to give my shout out. Thank you so much. This stream is brought to you by Justin Console Kits, who again has let me borrow his Canon M2 camera. That's why we look so high definition. There's so many people in the comments last week afterwards like, B, did you get a new camera? What was it? What did you do? And
we just stole from Justin Console Kits.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you. So yeah, the stream in high quality definition. Maybe we'll be doing some more content like this. Let us know if you're watching this on a replay, if you have any thoughts on your own top 10 list of games that are social, that bring people together. Did I miss anything? Is there any honorable mentions or things like that? And with that, we'll call it a night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy your Sunday, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Hope you guys are having a good one. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, P-dubs. The camera is brand new. It is indeed. See ya. Bye.